Welcome to the podcast growers. Imagine adding a burst of color and flavor to your garden with flowers you can actually eat. Here, we are going to dive into the top edible flowers that you can grow right here in Minnesota and many other places around the world. Perfect for making your meals bloom with fresh, homegrown goodness. Of course, you are here at the Learn as You Grow podcast. We share gardening tips, ideas, and inspiration to help you cultivate your best garden and self. We're going to have a safety meeting, if I'm being honest. We can't just dive into talking about eating flowers without having a safety meeting, okay? Even if one part of the plant is safe to eat, do not assume that all parts are safe. Only a particular part of the plant is edible usually. Removing the stamen and pistils from the flower and eat only the petals is usually what we're going for. So understand the parts of a flower. If you want to see an image, we did a live stream about edible flowers. You're going to be able to see the image there. Go check it out. For an example, the red stalk of the rhubarb may be eaten, but you should not eat the green leaves, roots, or flowers as they contain toxic compounds. That's just an example of understanding your plant, right? Also, making sure that the plants are pesticide free, that they haven't been sprayed. We're not going to be harvesting things from the roadside ditch, okay? We're not going to be eating cut flowers that we bought at the grocery store, right? Even at the garden centers, they might be treated with fertilizers or pesticides, flushing the soil with water, transplanting. We don't want to eat things that have that on it. Also, remember that edible does not always mean palatable. Okay, the word edible means you may safely consume the flower. Unfortunately, that does not always mean the flavor is appealing. Some flowers, such as lavender, have a bitter or astringent taste and are best used sparingly as a garnish or create a syrup, for example, for coffee. Now, some of our edible flowers, you're going to want to consume them, the actual flower, the petal, versus making something into it with it. Blooms should be harvested the day they'll be used. Okay, you're going to wash the fresh flowers gently and set them aside to dry. Refrigerate them in plastic sandwich bags until you're ready to use them if you have this time delay. Removing interior flower parts such as the stamens and pistils for the squash or tulips. They are tart tasting. The white lower part of the petal adjacent to the stem should be removed as it's bitter. When serving flowers fresh, add them to your dish just before serving. Understanding the correct plant identification, okay? Knowing those Latin names to ensure you have the correct species of the plant and that it's the one that's edible. Okay, safety meeting adjourned. Let's talk about the fun stuff now. Nasturtium. Flavor profile, peppery and slightly sweet. Culinary uses, nasturtium petals enhance salads, imparting a spicy kick. The leaves and seeds are also edible. Oh, we have seen wraps made with the leaves. We've seen capers, pickled capers made with the seeds when they're in the green stage versus the mature stage. There's nasturtium pesto. There's tons of recipes out there. We talked about a lot of them on the live stream itself, so check that out if you want to see that. Next is calendula. Flavor profile, mildly tangy with a hint of spice. Culinary uses. Calendula petals add a golden hue to salads and can be used to garnish soups. Now, what I see them used for is infusing into tea, infusing in oil to make a salve, to make an oil, lotion, cream, bar, something. I never thought of eating them in a salad, but the tea, yes. Next is chive blossoms. Flavor profile is onion-like but milder. Culinary uses, chive blossoms make excellent garnishes for salads, soups, and creamy dishes. We can't forget the potatoes. We can put chive blossoms on potatoes, right? And they can also be infused into a vinegar. We can turn that into a salad dressing, right? Now, lavender is very floral, sweet, slightly citrusy. The uses for it is infusions. So, lavender infused desserts, teas, syrups. We usually don't just gnaw on the petals, right? Violas are mild and slightly sweet. The culinary uses are violas are delicate additions to salads and desserts. They can also be candied for a confectionery delight. And of course, rose, floral and subtly sweet rose petals, rose hips, I think of too. Rose elevate beverages, desserts, and jams. They ensure they are free from pesticides. Again, don't forget the safety meeting. Borage or borage is a mild cucumber taste. I really hope to grow this year. I want to put it in one of my food forest islands. The culinary uses for borage flowers make refreshing additions to salads, beverages, and frozen into ice cubes. Sounds fantastic. Next flower is dianthus, sweet and clove-like. Dianthus petals embellish salads, desserts, and are candied for a touch of sweetness. Now, marigolds, I also would not put on my I'm dying to eat them list at all, just because of how they smell. They're very fragrant. They're citrusy and tangy for a flavor profile. The uses for them are in salads and soups and rice. Now, rice I could see. And then adding color to herbal teas. My kids like to rub the marigolds on their skin or draw on paper with them for like a pest control. I mean, because they smell, right? They kind of keep the mosquitoes away. Of course, the sunflower. Oh, the gorgeous sunflower, one of my favorite flowers. Nutty with a slightly bitter undertone. Sunflower petals are a crunchy addition to salads, and seeds can be harvested for snacking or oil extraction. We've seen that whole center casing that holds the seeds be baked or grilled and chewed on. The stalk can be used for textile reasons, not so much edible reasons, but okay, we're going to keep going. Things you've heard of before, of course, the anise hyssop. Flowers and leaves have a licorice flavor used in tea. Most of our herbs, okay, edible, right? I'm talking more flowers tonight, this evening, around whenever you're hearing this. Bee balm flowers have a citrusy, sweet, hot, minty flavor, and the flower tastes may differ by species or cultivar. We have chamomile, of course, making that beautiful tea with that. Our dandelions, the flowers have a honey-like flavor when picked young, but older flowers will have the bitter flavor. Same with the leaves. Young leaves are good for eating fresh. Older leaves, you would want to like saute or cook that type of green. There's the root. You wash and chop it up and dry it, roast it in an oven, grind it up and use it as a tea. It's fantastic. There's the dandelion mead or dandelion wine. There's dandelion honey. There's dandelion bread. How many of you enjoy the dandelion out there? The daylily flower bud flavor compares to green beans and eggplant, but open flower flavor is milder. Petals used in pancakes, frittatas, dips, dried bud used in Chinese sweet and sour soup. Flavor varies between the cultivars. Let's see our list. Hibiscus flowers are cranberry citrus flavor, and they add the red color to tea. Couple more. We have tulip. Flower petals have a pea or bean flavor removed from stem and used in salads with soft cheeses. And then yucca, Yucca, and I'm spelling it because there's different yucca spellings because it's a different cultivar. So this one is Yucca. Flowers are sauteed, boiled, roasted, dried, and lightly seasoned, used to thicken soups, add to salads, and use as garnishes. Let's go over some tips for this edible flower conversation. Choose hardy varieties. Opt for flower varieties that are well suited. I'm talking about Minnesota here. You can insert your climate here, making it withstands whatever your climate is, right? So here it's chilly springs, warm summers. We have very cold winters. Am I looking for perennials? That kind of thing. Be mindful of your planting when you're growing your edible flower garden, right? Select sunny spots for optimal flower growth. Ensure well-draining soil enriched with compost for healthy blooms. Pesticide-free practices, please. We are eating this food. Understand your companion planting. Okay, we did an entire live stream devoted to companion planting and how to drive it. Check it out on the replay. Your harvesting techniques, timing, right? Harvest flowers in the morning when they are at their freshest. Petals only. Remove the bitter parts like the base of the petals or sepals before consumption. Culinary creativity. Experiment, okay? Try it with a salad. Try it on a sandwich. Try it in a soup. Try it with a dessert. Try it with the beverage. There's all kinds of ways to eat your flowers. And then there's preservation methods. There's drying. So preserving flowers by air drying them for future use. This makes me think of teas for sure. And then infusions, creating floral infused oils, vinegars, or syrups helps prolong that experience for enjoyment, right? The elegance of it, the decorative touch, using the flowers as garnishes is visually appealing in a culinary presentation. I see this done with salad blends, right? Eventual bloom. Allow some of the flowers to go to seed for natural reseeding in subsequent seasons. Let me repeat that. Please don't pick all the flowers to eat. Please let them bloom. Please let them form seeds and drop their seeds and reseed the area, okay? And actually, this might have been something we should have put in the safety meeting, so thanks for sticking around. Be mindful of allergies, okay? Exercise caution if you or guests have allergies. Introduce flowers in small quantities initially, okay? Appreciate the aesthetics. Embrace the dual purpose of edible flowers by cultivating varieties that enhance the beauty of your garden landscape. So tell me, which edible flower would you grow or do you grow or love to grow in your garden? Maybe you didn't know it was edible until now. Was it nasturtiums, lavender, calendula, borage? I want to hear from you. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Shawnee Grows, for even more tips and live streams. Thanks for listening to Learn As You Grow. Be sure to follow, leave a review, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, grow every day in every way.